let's just start and see how this goes. This game auto-saves after each scene. Do not turn off your console during scene transitions. Alright. It's so quiet. You think they forgot? Forget a royal visitation? No one could make such a blunder, princess. Well, I guess I should just go in then. Okay, so that's apparently Zelda. Dang. Talon was killed. 07. March 17, 9:37 AM. Hyrule Grand Court. Defendant lobby number 3. You think that after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to the stress. So why am I shaking? Gah, guess it's a lot worse when it's your friend's life that's on the line. Come on, gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. Speaking of her though, where is she anyway? Hey you, over there! What is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. But it will be soon, right? We happen to know why my client isn't here yet? Didn't get to speak much with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I could at least exchange a word with her now. Well, you weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she's currently in the prosecutor's lobby. You wanted to talk to her as well. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Not to worry, she will definitely be here before the trial. Great, that'll be a joyous 5 minutes indeed. But there's nothing I can do but wait. And so we wait. Sometime later. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can he keep her? Ah, see, there she is. No need to get all worked up. Something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No, don't worry. Everything's fine. This is Malon. Ever since we met in Hyrule Castle Town, all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. Everything's fine. Why do you look so worried? Attorney's badge. Proof that I can stand in court as an attorney. Malon, age 27. A longtime friend of the defendant in this case. Talon, deceased. The victim, owner of Lon Lon Ranch and Malon's loving father. Well, how did the investigation go? Did you find anything? Yes, the investigation. I found tons of, groundbreaking stuff. Particularly that my opponent's a real scumbag. What did the prosecutor want from me anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. Kept explaining in detail what will happen to me if I'm found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. Probably just said that so we wouldn't have as much time to talk. You believe in me, right? I didn't do it. I never. Of course I believe you. Of course I believe you. Although I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. What's that you've got there? Oh, this is just a pictograph of father I carry around. Oh my god. I just can't believe he's gone. Wish I knew how to cheer her up right now. Not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know, that pictograph could be really useful for the trial. Oh? How so? Well, You look so happy together. I could present it to show that you two had a great relationship. You really think so? Ah, well, here you go, Dad. Malon's pictogram added to the court record. At least I'll be walking in there with something other than my badge. But wait, we shouldn't just be idly chatting. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I don't stand much chance if I don't know your version of the story. I understand. Fortunately, there really isn't much. A trial is starting. Defendant attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. Alright, everything will be fine. Prosecutor has been playing me for a fool since this began, but sooner or later his arrogance will be his undoing. Let's head inside. My name is Link. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. Won my fair share of cases, and lost some too, but this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Malon's life, I've got to find out who did this to Talon. Talon, he was always so kind. Didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this. Oh hey, it's Ganon. Court is now in session for the trial of Malon of Lon Ranch. The defense is ready, Your Honor. I sincerely doubt that. What were they thinking, pitting me against a pathetic kid? Pathetic kid? What gives you the right to? Still your tongue. You brought shame upon the fine color of your hair, my woman. Before long, the world shall know the horrible deeds you've committed. Let us not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? No, this court is no place to be exchanging insults. Since the prosecutor seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening statement should also be the closing one. The girl did it. It's obvious. She killed her own father in cold blood. Also, she could have the register herself. Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you, you greedy little rat? Your Honor, you can't allow this man to verbally abuse the defendant like this. She committed murder, kid. She deserves every bit of scorn she gets. I do believe a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. Bah. I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all of the damning evidence. Who is this guy? How can he speak to the judge like that? Ganondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. Stories about him I've heard about him must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades, all while disrespecting everyone in the court, including the judge. I've even heard some attorneys refer to him as the King of Evil. No, never. He's not the King of Evil. Definitely has that look at the very least. Who wears full armor to court? Very well, please present your case to the court. You don't seem to like me talking, so I'll just let the detective present the basics. Who's the detective? Oh, Impa. Bring Impa of the Sheikah force to the stand. Well, here we go. The first battle. I know Impa. She's quite a competent detective. Which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. Yo! Impa! Alright, state your name and whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change would be for the worse. Now, stop wasting time. Name and occupation. Oh man. Very well. I am Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking. You were on his side to this case, so you know all about it. What calamity has befallen our fair kingdom? Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement. I suppose I can do the prosecutor's job for him this time, for the sake of an unbiased look. Please go ahead, detective. The incident happened early yesterday morning on London Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castletown. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. Tragic loss for our kingdom for sure. I've seen a man around Castletown a number of times delivering goods. Quite. The owner was a rather important figure in the local community. In any case, we were alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard who were there on official business. Also, can we just take a moment and talk about this music? How you have the Air Horror music and like the Ace Attorney mixed in one. That's absolutely amazing. Did I read that? No, I don't think. We were alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, Ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it is operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the Crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. Scheduled annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah Force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out onto the floor. Next to him lay his daughter, Mallory, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her, as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice, Mr. Kate. Keep that up and perhaps you will keep your job. Ho ho! I don't think the good detective here has to worry much about that, given she is the head of the department. Which reminds me, why is the head of detectives herself on a case like this? Where are the other detectives unavailable? That would be because I have been assigned to this case by order of the King of Hyrule himself. The King himself assigned you? That doesn't happen very often, does it? You are correct, Your Honor. I am not usually involved in field work like this. This time, however, the King felt it necessary because of who is involved. Who is involved? Is the death of a ranch worker really such a concern for the King? Well, as I said, Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. Why does Impa have a screwdriver or whatever the heck that is she has in her hands? Oh, is that like a baton? Like a police baton? I imagine the King wasn't one of the top investigators on this job, because it was the Royal Princess herself who discovered the crime scene. Order! I will have order! The Royal Princess Zelda witnessed the crime? Ha! And there you have it. This case riddles on the princess's own words. To doubt it would be to doubt your own royalty. This is bad. Can't really object to that. Very well, if the princess is testifying today, it's better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. Witness testimony. The reasons for arrest. It is with regret that I agree with Redmire. All the evidence points towards this girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who's an alibi for the time of the crime. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seems like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. Your Honor, I would like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. First, I have the autopsy report performed by the Crown's top coroner. Who's that? Here is what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. Saw added to the court record. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch and its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch's inventory list to see whether anything was missing. List matches the items we found on the ranch exactly, and nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. That does sound quite compelling. This must have been a truly terrifying scene. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like this is extremely painful. This only helps to prove the defendant's viciousness. This right there going to paint Malin as some heartless monster. There is one more thing I feel I should mention, for the sake of completeness. Give me a second. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, a courier showed up to take some milk shipments. Of course, business must go on. It was really necessary to enter into evidence, though. The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel it bears mentioning. With a constant check before you let them go? Naturally, who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments did get quite worked up about it, we cracked all of the boxes open to check what was inside. In the end, it turned out to only be milk bottles, so we let them through. Oh well, thank you for your thoroughness, detective. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. Ah, great. How does that work? Huh? Could you explain what you're going to be doing? Can't hurt to go over this again. There's no time. Sorry, there's no time for that. We have to get started right away. Oh, alright then. I'll just try my best to follow along. You know what you're doing. I sure hope so. This might not be easy. The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Bah! Waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying that standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Dragmire. In any case, we're ready, defense. Please begin the cross-examination. Cross-examination. The reasons for arrest. Alright, let me check the record real quick. I had autopsy report. Deep irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. Victim died from loss of blood no later than 8 a.m. Saw. Supposed murder weapon. Found in Malin's hand. Clean of blood. A list of equipments on the ranch. Press A for details. Rakes, 4 pieces. Garden hose, 4 pieces. Buckets, 8 pieces. Hammers, 2 pieces. Knives, 6 pieces. Wood saws, 1 piece. Saddles, 8 pieces. Horseshoes, 28 pieces. Axes, 3 pieces. Brooms, 2 pieces. Scythes, shovels, flails, trowels, post pounders, drag harrows, water hoses, wheelbarrows, horse carts, towing harnesses, cow nose rings. Milk shipments. Some orders of milk that left the ranch a little while after the crime. Hold it. What makes you think she's the culprit?
She's just about to tell you. Keep quiet and listen.
Right. Sorry. Indeed, as I was saying, we determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. And just how did you do that? It's quite simple. There was no blood found anywhere else. Had the victim been attacked at some other location, we'd expect the trail of it leading to the scene. Couldn't the killer have just cleaned it all up? Certainly not. The path to the ranch house at Lon Lon Ranch is not paved in any way. Cleaning blood off the ground would require disturbing the soil. Naturally, if we found nothing of the sort.
Bah, there wouldn't have been enough time to pull that off anyway.
Likely true. Right. Sounds like the location of the crime scene is pretty firm. I'm not giving up yet. We're only 3 people on the ranch. The victim, the defendant, and the worker who's an alibi for the time of the crime.
Hold it.
3 people, you say? I guess that would have to be Mr. Ingo.
Let me stop you before you start getting too excited. If you had listened to the rest of what the detective said, you'd notice she'd mentioned an alibi.
Indeed, we're pretty certain that the ranch worker couldn't have been involved. Well, what is this alibi then? You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments. Well, the worker, Ingo, was in charge of them. He left the ranch house first thing in the morning and was busy preparing the shipments after that. Is that sure so? Surely he could have gotten away from them for one really quick little murder?
Oh. Bah, this wouldn't just be a quick little murder, as you so crudely put it. You'd have to have taken steps to hide his involvement too. There was definitely not enough time for that.
Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of work. Have to milk all the cows, clean all the bottles, pour the milk out into them, arrange them all into crates, and finally load it all up onto a wagon. Usually I had to do it together with father to finish before the courier arrived. The shipments were already ready when we arrived on the ranch. We checked the boxes that were all fully loaded with filled milk bottles. So this Ingo was able to do work with 2 people all on his own. Isn't that a bit odd?
Objection! Odd or not, he evidently did just that. Clearly he's a man dedicated to his job. Or perhaps the girl and her father are just very inefficient.
This whole thing seems awfully suspicious if you ask me, but I guess I have nothing to dispute it with. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor.
Hold it!
Malon fainted? Correct. We couldn't get her to wake for a long time. Eventually, we decided to administer a healing fairy so she could be questioned. I guess finding the body was just that much of a shock, huh?
Ha! Probably just pretending, trying to make it look like she had merely found the body.
In any event, furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. Hold it! And how can you be so sure of this? Look at the autopsy report.
Deep, irregular wound made with a sharp metal object.
The saw was the only sharp implement in the ranch house that could produce such a wound. And as I've already mentioned, we also looked closely at all other sharp things on the ranch. None had recent blood on them. That still doesn't necessarily mean the saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit hit the real one.
Objection. Oh yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon.
Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw.
So, you have nothing? What a waste of time.
Seems like such a bright girl. It is most unfortunate. Hold it! She sure is. We've known each other for years.
Yet she murdered her father in cold blood. How curious. Perhaps you're just bad judges of characters. Both of you.
No way. Just give me some time and I'm going to prove it. You see anything wrong yet? Yep, I do. Well, usually it's difficult to find anything wrong with the basic facts of the case. That said, I do think I saw one small thing. Oh, really now? Really? That's great. Sure is. Because I've got to poke all the holes I can find before the princess gets here. Ah, great, I can go back and forth. How do I object? Ah, see up. Objection! Huh, seems like a fairly large oversight. I just want to make sure of something. The state the saw is currently in is how you found it at the crime scene? That's correct. That's strange, considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was. Why is there no blood on the supposed murder weapon?
Ha! Is that all you have?
Huh?
Naturally, prosecution has an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold, this club was found in the defendant's other hand. As you can plainly see, it is stained with blood. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement.
Objection! If Marlon was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene?
Bah! Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, just so happened that the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she just stumbled upon the scene. Yeah.
Young lady, things are not looking very good for you. Young lady, things are not looking very good for you right now.
The court accepts the bloody cloth into evidence.
Bloody cloth added to the court record. So, what's the story with this cloth? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, noticed that part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. Not entirely sure when that happened, but sometimes one of the horses just gets a bit too rowdy, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Inge about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. But then the saw slipped, and I cut my hand open. Oh, goddesses, are you okay? Well, it wasn't that bad. It did bleed quite a lot though, so I used that cloth to quickly bandage the wound. Was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence.
Ha! A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. The Sheikah force had to use a ferry on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconsciousness. I do have to give her some credit. She is one cunning woman. She knew that would explain the sudden lack of any wound on her hand. Ho ho! Why yes, ferries are wonderful. Just the other day I slapped my hand with the gavel and one took the pain off immediately.
Great. Glad to know they're used for such important things. But dang it, too bad there's no way to tell whose blood is on the cloth.
I do believe this matter has been settled. I'm ready to call my next witness.
Uh-oh. Is that all I can get out of her?
You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Be gone.
Fine. But you had best treat Her Highness with respect, or I'll see to it that you spend your night in the dungeons.
Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah. A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me.
Is that so? Then perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. And glaring daggers at each other. This doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble.
Order! Order! I'm sure we'll treat the princess with utmost respect. You may step down, detective. This case has already made me wary with all the pointless jabber. Time is ripe to deal the final blow. I call Her Highness, Princess Zelda of Hyrule, to the stand.
Yo, did you see the audience? There was Anju in the audience, and Agor. Is something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden?
Oh, Your Highness. I believe we're all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It is quite an honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Bah! In the face of the law, the princess was no different from a peasant. Name and occupation, now.
The prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess.
Derogatory? Simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure.
It is alright, detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we are all equals. On this stand, I am just another witness. I should not be getting any special treatment.
Very admirable, Your Highness. You can all rest easy, knowing that Hyrule is destined to have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed. I eagerly await the day when our next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image.
You flatter me, prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked for my name and occupation. I am Zelda, current Princess of Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne.
Marvelous, Your Highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at Lon Lon Ranch to witness this terrible incident?
It's simple, really. Lon Lon Ranch is Hyrule Castle Town's biggest food supply. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guard with the finest of horses. Every year, the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the steeds. Wow, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guard. Yep. We work hard every year to make sure they're in the best possible condition. Father loves to boast about it to the other ranch owners. There's other ranch owners in Hyrule? Ha! Knowing talent, I'm sure he did.
How unfortunate that the ranch may no longer meet the crown's high standards under new gym management. The royal family has a backup, I trust.
We are looking for one. Naturally, their standards are quite high.
Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident.
Very well, here I go. Witness testimony. The scene behind the door. I arrived at Lon Lon Lake Ranch little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. I could sense that something was wrong. Opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the branch of his chest with the saw she was holding. I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I will never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence.
Wow. Way to exaggerate, Zelda. And to tell lies. What?
Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed?
There you go. Decisive testimony. As there is no need to doubt the princess's statements, call for the judge to make a ruling right away.
Objection!
Hey, now, hold on. I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet. Objection. You haven't fooled, because there is no need. Did you not hear one word of what I said?
Objection! Didn't you just say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? Is this the defense's right?
You complete. I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination, no matter who is testifying.
I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I have only ever read about court proceedings in the Royal Library.
That being said, I will not tolerate any reckless accusations towards the princess. Is that clear?
Naturally, Your Honor. How am I going to cross-examine the princess? It isn't going to end well. What's gotten into the prosecutor? It seemed like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess's status, it's possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean that this testimony is a surprise even to him. This could be my chance.
Before we begin, there's just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That would be this, I presume?
Why, yes, that is exactly it.
What is that?
Oh, this is a bottle of perfume that Father intended to give to Her Highness when she arrived. We quickly rode out to town to get it at the last moment. We didn't know that the princess was coming instead of the king until only about 2 hours before the visitation. Oh, how thoughtful. He really did not need to bother himself so.
As fascinating as this all is, prosecution doesn't believe it is relevant to the case.
Objection! It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defense requests the bottle to be accepted into evidence.
Bah! Desperate to latch onto every little thing, are you? Whatever. You can add it to the evidence if it'll make you happy. No skin off my teeth. In that case, the court accepts this bottle into evidence. Now then, defense, begin your cross-examination.
Cross-examination. A scene behind the door. Arrived at Longlawn Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. Hold it! If these guards were with Her Highness, why were they not called as witnesses?
We did question the guards, naturally. Apparently they didn't get to see anything relevant.
I was the only one to enter the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted that no one could be allowed inside until the Sheikah force arrived. I have read that preserving the scene is vital.
Quite correct.
I'm sure the guards were absolutely thrilled with this order.
Please proceed, witness.
I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. Have you conducted these royal visitations in the past, Your Highness? No, this was my first one. Up until last year, my father was always the one to visit Lon Lon Ranch. However, he decided I had to start preparing for all the royal duties that await me, and so I was to do it this time.
You will doubtlessly perform admirably as a ruler when the time comes.
What happened when you got to the ranch house? I could sense that something was wrong. Opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. Actually, something I want to check real quick. Body cloth found clutched by Malon at the crime scene. Supposedly, she wiped the sword clean with this. Perfume, ranch gift for the princess. Bought just before the crime scene. Found at the crime. Bought just before the crime. Found at the crime scene. Malon, age 27. Talon deceased. Judge, age question mark. Jolly old man who's presided over some of my cases. Ganondorf Dragmeyer, age 59. Prosecutor assigned to the case, rude to other, easily angered. Impa, age 34. Head of detectives assigned to investigate the case. Princess Zelda, age 14. Excuse me, what? You're telling me Malon is 27 and Zelda is only 14? I also really like the portraits. Really nice. And? What then?
Stop interrupting and let her get to the point.
Defense, I believe I was clear about not badgering the witness. Drat, you need to calm down. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. Hold it. You paid attention to something like that after seeing a murder princess? Well, I spent a rather long time in there waiting for the Sheikah Force to arrive. Plus, that bottle is quite beautiful. It just stood out. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest when he saw she was holding. Hold it. You were there at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness. That is correct. That's impossible. You're lying.
The defendant will curb her outburst. You're addressing royalty.
This is really bad. What now? Where were the victim and the defendant at this time? The ranch owner was in front of a little table that is directly across from the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of him and quickly fainted after her attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. I had a rather good view of the whole scene.
Right.
It is unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. Now, please continue.
I asked something else. Are you sure there wasn't anyone else at the ranch, Your Highness? No, the place looked empty. Although I did later see a worker pull up a loaded wagon when a courier came asking about milk shipments. It caused a little bit of a scene when the Sheikah Force started inspecting it. The worker must have been somewhere else on the ranch, I suppose.
The ranch is pretty large. Said worker was inside a building on the other side. It's quite understandable she wouldn't have seen it until later.
Drat, this really doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. Should I ask something else? I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I will never forget what I saw that day. Hold it. Are you sure you got a good look then, Your Highness? You didn't look away in panic.
Objection! Princess was very brave to take control of the situation the way she did. There is no need to doubt what she saw.
Ah, yes, I suppose what you did was admirable. If only we had arrived earlier. Your Highness, don't blame yourself for this. You'd arrived earlier, you could have been the one that got attacked.
Ha! So you would have lashed out at anyone trying to stop you, huh? Despicable.
Objection! That's not what you meant, and you know it. Princess, please go on. Very well. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. Yeah. Hold it. Trust your heart, Your Highness. You know Malon didn't do this.
What nonsense. Her heart? What do her organs have to do with anything? Oh, of course. Evidence and testimony be damned. Just because we feel the defendant must be innocent.
Oh, well, are you sure? Then I declare today's verdict.
Have you gone senile, old man? It was a joke, much like the arguments the defense has been presenting.
I can't believe the princess would lie like this. Yeah, it really is shocking. You don't believe her, right? Even if she's the princess, that means nothing. I didn't do it. To trust authority or your best friend? I'll need something very concrete to disprove what the princess is saying. I think this could be the autopsy report. Deep irregular wound. Your Honor, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts. Oh, this doesn't look great.
How dare you question the princess? This is...
You will let the defense speak, prosecutor.
I think I see why he so desperately wanted to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you stated that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 AM, correct? Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly, but we were quite a bit early. I see, that makes something you mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 AM. You couldn't have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner when you arrived, because the victim was already dead by then.
Order! Order!
Yes, you really caught her in a lie.
Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court.
I have not lied, I suppose I did not see the exact moment it happened. I guess I only thought I did. Princess, this is a matter of life and death. I definitely saw the defendant there, though, along with the body. There's no one else who could have done it. I remember all of the other details correctly. The body's on the floor, the pool of blood. You have to believe me. Perhaps it will be best if Her Highness revises her testimony. Yeah, that's not good. Still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. I have to find someone else or this case will be over. Witness testimony. What I actually saw. I'm sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I did not see the actual moment of the attack, but it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. Miss Malon and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. It didn't really say anything there.
I see, you only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime being committed. Very well, hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination.
Naturally, Your Honor. Dragmire still looks pretty angry. Bet he didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If I could just find another one like that, the princess's testimony would become completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. What I actually saw. Give me just a sec. I will be right back. And I'm back. So for the wait. I'm really hungry, so just need to get some snacks inside me. Hold it. Why did you do that, Your Highness? There's a light on the line here. I really am sorry. Suppose I got a bit too excited about being a witness in an actual murder trial. Really now? Most people hate testifying. Yes. Well, a life of a princess is rather boring, you know. This is quite a break from the routine for me. Should just get a hobby then. Hold it. In that case, it can't be conclusively proven that the defendant did it.
Objection. Defense, did you exhaust your singular brain cell on that last contradiction you found? It's the Deaf Mountain's worth of evidence pointing to the defendant. Just because no one saw the actual moment of the crime doesn't mean anyone else could have done it.
I think you're making a deaf mountain out of a deaf molehill. How can you be so sure of that, Princess? Well... when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body.
What?
It is obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to try to hide the weapon. Yes, I might not have seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so.
Oh, why? It seems like a very important detail. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony.
Certainly, Your Honor. Interesting. Dragmire certainly doesn't look very happy about this development, does he? Thinking about it, might just know why. That weapon was still stuck into the victim's body after all. Hold it. It doesn't necessarily mean my client was the one to do it, though. What if someone else snuck in before Malon and the princess arrived? Well, I suppose...
Objection! Bloodlong Ranch is surrounded by high walls, and the only way in is through a self-locking gate. Not very many people have a key to that gate. Just the personal and the crown.
Well, someone could have forced their way in.
Objection! Bah! The wish to propose such a possibility must substantiate it with evidence. Do you have any proof that another person showed up at the ranch house before the princess?
Do I? Why? Not necessarily, I think. Don't think I do. Don't have anything of the sort. Must be another angle I can attack this from.
Very well, witness. Since the defense has wisely chosen to stay silent, please continue their testimony.
Miss Malon and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. Hold it. Are you sure Malon was the person there, other than the victim? From what I recall, there's an upstairs room at the ranch house. What if someone was hiding there?
Objection! Don't be stupid, defense. If someone was hiding up there, the Sheikah force would have found them.
I stood guard at the door the entire time. No one could have left.
What if they jumped out a window?
Do not be ridiculous. Those windows are very high up. Actually, those windows can't even be opened. They'd have to break one to leave. Right. Well, this is a little more plausible than the last testimony she gave. Yes, I suppose it matches the detective's account, doesn't it? Still, I feel like something here sticks out like a sore thumb. I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. What did I do? I didn't do nothing. I'm defending Malon in court. The prosecution has argued before that it was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged in Talon's body and the crime scene was left intact, then it couldn't have been wiped. Well, Prosecutor Dragmire, care to explain?
Yeah. This is most perplexing. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw?
I...
Objection! Well, maybe the princess decided to put the saw out in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim.
try it like this. And then wipe the plate clean.
That would be almost like framing the defendant.
Of course I didn't know such a thing. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact. I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out of Mr. Talon as well.
You idiotic girl! Do you even realize what you've done through your bumbling?
I am sorry. I was just so excited to stand as witness in court just this once.
What's the crime that happened? Talon was killed in the ranch, and Malon fainted with saw in hand, and this so she had this saw in hand and this bloody cloth. And she fainted next to Talon's body, and Zelda is the one who found the scene.
Whenever I try telling my father about anything, he always seems so disinterested. Just as once, I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. I just wanted to play a larger part in her capture. I'm sorry for the trouble I have caused you all.
Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we will have to strike your statements from the court record completely.
Yes, I did it. Prosecution lost their key witness. No, please wait. I have more to say. I was wrong about the crime scene, but I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards.
Bah! Why would we care about that? It's best that you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy.
Even if you're not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found.
What? Huh? Evidence?
Of course. While the Sheikah force investigated inside the ranch house, looked around the rest of the ranch on my own.
Sheikah, did you know about this?
Of course I did. You did?
I'll have your head for this.
Order! Order! What is the meaning of this, detective? Why have you withheld this from the court?
It's quite simple. The princess specifically requested to present her finding on her own.
What? And you agreed to this? This court is not some playground where children decide when evidence should be presented just because they have a crown.
It's being rude about it, but I can't help but agree with Dragmire on this one. Also, I don't really buy the story. There's no way Impa would have allowed this. Believe me, I wasn't thrilled with the request either. However, after seeing the evidence in question, I didn't think it would be at all important to the case. Thus, I'll let the princess have her fun.
I will have order! This is highly irregular. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Prosecutor,
Bah! Naturally, I object to this nonsense. If the detective thinks that's irrelevant, then this is probably just a waste of time. All the evidence points to the defendant. It's still clear she did it, even without a witness at the scene.
I see. Defense?
What do we do? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmire loses his key witness. Plus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case too. So we should agree with the prosecution? Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left.
Well, don't keep us waiting. Surely, you won't throw away all the progress you've made thus far.
What do I do? Well, obviously, we're requesting the evidence. I really hope this is the right choice. The defense requests that the evidence be presented.
What?
While I agree that the situation is irregular, we should still examine all evidence available. It would be silly to dismiss it as a rebellion without even seeing what it is.
I do believe you have a point, defense. However, I must warn you, in order to admit this piece of evidence into the court record, the princess's statements that she fought it must be admitted as testimony, along with everything else she might say.
Yes, Your Honor, I am well aware. The defense wishes to give the princess just one more chance.
Of all the idiotic, foolish... Order! Very well then. Your Highness, please testify once more about the new piece of evidence you found during your own investigation.
Thank you. I will not let you down this time, I promise. Princess should understand the gravity of the situation at hand now. I just hope this new evidence isn't damaging to our cause. Witness testimony. My findings. I wish to express my most heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant pass out in front of the victim, who was bleeding out. Banger soundtrack. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah force arrived. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. I followed the scent and found a burnt out fire nearby, and a small nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. Hey, we got an empty bottle. And here it is, the oil bottle I found. Is something wrong? Oh no, this might actually be completely irrelevant.
Yes, well...
Of course there is, foolish girl. That has nothing to do with anything. Your great finding is some random fire on a ranch? Please. What next? Are you going to declare every rake on the premises suspicious?
Well,
The prosecution will calm down.
This is bad. Your Honor, despite the fact that this evidence might not seem to add anything at the moment, the defense still asserts its right to a cross-examination. Some straws have been grasped.
Objection!
Why must you insist on this charade, defense? The princess has merely recounted the same view of the crime scene as the head detective. I haven't been able to find any contradiction in her statements.
I believe there might be a way to tie the princess's new evidence into the case.
Ridiculous.
Regardless of what the prosecution thinks, the defense does have a right to cross-examination.
The court admits the oil bottle into evidence.
Oil bottle added to the court record.
I just really hope this isn't a complete waste of time, defense. For both your own sake and your clients.
My findings. Alright, well, we got oil bottle found at the ranch near burned out fire. It has a tiny bit of oil inside. Also, something that's really interesting. Malon is 27. Zelda is 14. Just saying, because that's quite weird. Because that's definitely not canon ages. Alright, oil bottle. I should express my mom, yeah. How old is Link? Probably also around 27. Because he said he's, Malon's a friend of him. But we have, like, no idea. And considering he's an attorney, he's probably, at least adult.
There's no need to press the princess on her apology. You already wasted the chance to throw out her testimony. Yes, defense, please get to the point.
Yikes. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant pass out in front of the victim who was bleeding out. Hold it! Was there anything else in the room? Only the beautiful little crystal ball I mentioned before. The house was rather barren. Most of our things are on the top floor, since the downstairs room is mostly used for ranch business these days. And the occasional game. Ah, of course. That's famous Kaku game! No! Oh no. Not the Kaku game. The good old days! The good old days!
Is the defense done reminiscing? There will be plenty of time to do that when the defendant's behind bars.
Was just trying to distract myself from the fact that there's nothing to latch onto here. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah force arrived. Hold it! Did anything happen during that time? No, not that I recall. The guards did occasionally protest and ask me to let them take over, but I held my stance.
Well, commendable in theory. Staying in the same room as a dangerous killer isn't very wise. What if she woke up and lashed out at you?
Sweet, highly up above.
That thought did not occur to me.
Bah! Of course not. Foolish girl.
But the guards did stand close by. I would have been safe.
Wonderful to see how much faith our princess has in our royal guard.
Yes, of course I do. In any case. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. You didn't just go home? The royal visitation was supposed to last a lot longer. Father was not expecting us back at the castle until much later. I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I supposed I could at least do that in the meantime. How long did it take the Sheikah to arrive at the scene? It does not take very long to make the trip from Hyrule Castle Town to Lavon Ranch. I cannot imagine it was more than 20 minutes. That is pretty fast. Although I imagine the fact that the princess was involved helped speed it up.
Slowpokes! I would be there in half that time. Running backwards, even.
You know? I wonder if this is like actually referencing the fact that you're running faster backwards. Wonder if that's actually referencing that.
Suppose it's no surprise though. Hylian horses are naturally inferior to our fine Gerudo steeds.
The Gerudo buy horses from our ranch too, you. Just don't bother. He's trying to rile you up. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. Hold it. What was the smell like? Oh, it was awful. A really terrible stench.
Well, surely you don't mean to say that you found the smell of horse manure suspicious.
Do not be ridiculous. The smell was not coming from the horses. I followed the scent and found a burnt out fire nearby, and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. Pull it. A fire, huh?
Now, let me remind you, Defense, that there's any number of reasons why a fire could have been there. You can still feel a cold grasp of death early in the morning.
For instance, how long would you estimate the fire had been out before you found it? Ah, right. There was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out recently. So around the time of the crime.
Objection! So someone prepared the breakfast there. I repeat, this fire is irrelevant.
I think he's realized the same thing I did. Well, who was it? Who could have lit that fire anyway?
It would have to have been the ranch worker who was putting the milk shipments together at the same time. It was almost certainly him. You really want to ask about this little barbecue? You might just get your wish soon.
Doesn't sound like it was very appetizing. But without anything concrete to pin on him, just be able to brush it off. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. Right. And she allowed you to present it? Well, I was the one to find it, and since I was going to the trial anyway...
Utter ridiculousness. Yes. Please make this the last time you do something like this, Your Highness.
Proper procedures exist for a reason.
Yes, I understand.
Defense, I believe that is enough. Doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between this fire and the crime at all.
Ugh. No, I suppose not, Your Honor.
Naturally. Said this was a waste of time from the beginning.
In that case, this cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume you have no more revelations to share with us?
No, I do not. I really thought the fire would be important.
Leave my side.
Enough. Your Highness, if you'd allow me to escort you back to Hyrule Castle. Very well.
Now that the princess's little game is over, we shall move this along. The prosecution stance is still the same, of course. We maintain that the evidence on its own is enough to convict the defendant.
I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict.
Objection!
But, Your Honor, there's nothing that definitely shows that Mallow committed the crime. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she would kill her own father.
Ah, that is an excellent point. face. Prosecution has yet to elaborate. The prosecution has yet to elaborate on the defendant's motive. Patricide is not something a person commits lightly.
Well, I did briefly touch on the subject during my opening statement. But, naturally, prosecution is fully prepared to elaborate on the matter. Would like to call in my third witness.
It has to be the rancher worker.
Before calling him in though, prosecution requests a brief recess to prepare.
Thought you said you were already prepared. Maybe he wants to double check that his new witness won't pull anything weird like the princess did.
Very well, I do believe a break would benefit us all. The court will reconvene after a 15-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
Oof. March 17, 11:17 a.m. Harrow, Grand Court. Defendant lobby number 3. It's not going all that well, is it? No, I think that went about as well as it could have, actually, given the circumstances. We exposed the worst of the princess's testimony as untrue. I can't believe she just makes stuff up like that. Yeah, that was surprising. Still, the issue is that we didn't manage to shake the core of the argument. If only there was anyone else in that house. No, there is no need to look so glum. Oh, info. Detective, aren't you supposed to be escorting the princess back? The carriage is being prepared. I thought I'd drop by in the meantime. You've really managed to make Dragmire furious, you know. I have? If you listen carefully, you just might be able to hear him ranting over in the prosecutor's lobby. He's really giving his upcoming witness a grilling. Expect him to try to shut you down as fast as he can. Well, that would be worrying if I had anything he could shut down in the first place, I guess. Oh, but you do? What do you mean? Oh, come on now. I'm talking about the Princess' grand discovery, of course. The fire, that's... wasn't able to do anything with that. Really think it's relevant? Don't get me wrong. At present, I'm convinced the girl did it. We investigated and came to this conclusion for a reason. But I am willing to explore every possibility. That fire is definitely a bit strange, and I dare say it may be your only way out of this. If I may be so bold, I think you should press the next witness on that topic hard. Is the only other person working on the ranch at the time. He's the only one who could have lit that fire. And if he is hiding something, I think the court deserves to know. Thing is, the next testimony is about a motive. It's going to be difficult to bring up the fire again without Dragmire objecting. You'll have to make it work. As much as I don't like it, she's right. There really isn't a whole lot else to go on here. Well, thank you. Don't mention it. One last thing. You, ranch girl. Me? Try not to hold that testimony against the princess. Believe me, I'm sure she was acting with the best of intentions in mind. You know the road to the Dark Realm is paved with those, right? Perhaps. It was definitely a serious lapse of judgment, one she will live to regret. Part of this comes from the fact that she's rather sheltered and inexperienced. After the sudden death of her older sister last year, she was thrust into the role of an heir very suddenly.
Wait. Zelda has a sister? Oh, that's the first... the firstborn Princess Zelda, of course. Of course. I guess that makes sense. The firstborn Princess Zelda. Of course. Let me guess. They are twins?
Hyrule still grieves after the events of that day, and yet no one knows what exactly happened. In the void of information, conspiracy theories run amok, people blaming the Royal Guard, the Sheikah, and even the king himself. The princess will soon have a whole kingdom's worth of troubles on her shoulders. For a kingdom with a history as turbulent as ours, it's a lot to handle. Princess's conduct today probably won't help with the distrust some people have of the crown right now, though. She's wise beyond her years. She will learn, and she will be better. I simply ask that you don't think of her as an enemy, whatever comes of this trial. She does not need more than she already has. Wow, she's so intense. I never expected to see Impa get so emotional. Guess all this is why she decided to take the blame for the princess's impromptu investigation. Detective Impa! What is it, soldier? I'm quite busy at the moment, so please be quick. Investigation team back at the ranch has just sent word of a new development. Something about a milk shipment being returned to ranch because of a wrong recipient address? They're asking you to come over to see it. Oh, those idiots. I don't have time for this. Send someone else. I have to escort the princess to the castle. Roger. It did remind me though, I took this bottle of milk from a couple of guards who were slacking on the job earlier. Here, ranch girl, perhaps it will calm your nerves somewhat. Not to worry, it's still unopened. Oh, thank you. That's nice of her. Too bad for those guards though. Now then, I believe the princess's carriage should be prepared by now. If you'll excuse me. I think I'm so nervous right now. Milk has just lost its flavor. Huh? Lost its flavor? But Lon Lon milk is always so tasty. Are you sure it's just nerves? Let me try some. Huh? You're right. I assume this would have come from one of yesterday's shipments? Probably. With the investigation at the ranch, there wouldn't be any today, so... Maybe it just isn't fresh? No, I don't think so. Doesn't really taste as if it's gone bad. Also, the guard said that one of yesterday's shipments was misaddressed, didn't he? This was all handled by Ingo, wasn't it? Think there's something odd going on. Better make some notes about this in the court record. Note about shipment's return added to the court record. Lon Lon milk added to the court record. Defense, the court is about to reconvene. Escort your client back to the courtroom at once. So it comes down to this. The conclusion is approaching. Time to turn the situation around. Alright, I still have 5 hearts. That's good. Court is back in session for the trial of Malon of Lon Lon Ranch. Trust that prosecution's final witness is ready? Naturally. I've personally seen to it that there will be no foolishness this time around. Hopefully his ears are intact. As we discussed before the recess, having established the opportunity and means for the defendant to have committed the murder, only one matter remains. Matter of motive. For naturally, such a heinous crime couldn't be the result of mere happenstance. Prosecution believes the defendant had a deep desire that pushed her to patricide. Our next witness can shed light on the matter. Fascinating. Very well, please proceed. Prosecution calls the ranch worker, Ingo, to the stand. Ah, yes. Of course, Ingo. It's funny to see Mr. Ingo in such fancy clothes. Oh? Yeah, he almost always just wears his work dungarees. It's almost like looking at a different person. Yeah, this is the first trial. I don't know how many trials there are. Not sure if the game has a whole many trials or anything. Who was the first witness? Yeah, first witness was Impa. Almost like looking at a different person, yeah. Cause, you know, in those clothes, he's actually, it's probably like, I forgot his name. The guy from Majora's Mask. Not Ingo. I mean, they have like the same model probably, but they were different claws. But, anyway. Well, I guess he wanted to dress up for court and he wouldn't want to get this nice outfit dirty by working in it.
Quiet, defense. Witness, state your name and occupation.
Your Honor, great honor, prosecutor. My name is Ingo. I mind Lon Lon Ranch.
Might? What does that entail exactly?
I'm mostly there to work on the structures and equipment. The owner and his daughters are the ones who tend to the animals and take care of orders.
How long have you been working at the ranch?
It'll be several years at this point. There have been others who came and went, but I, Ingo, have persevered through all the hardships. Sounds like he wants a medal for it. Well, it does get a bit pompous at times, and Mr. Ingo really is a great help. He built the ranch silo single-handedly. Whoa, that's some dedication. Huh. That's so.
Very well, given that you're clearly an important employee, you are privy to some inside information. Is that correct?
Yes, the ranch owner shared all the big plans with me, trusted me implicitly. He used to say that we're like a big family.
That sounds lovely.
It sounds like a red flag that you're gonna be getting loads of unpaid overtime.
Evidently, not every member of your so-called family felt the same way though, did they?
It hurts to do this, but I have no choice. Hear my story, Honorable Court of Law. The matter of motive. Just a couple days ago, the owner, Talon, partly signed the ranch over to his daughter, Malin. Talon became a life tenant, with Malin meant to inherit all of the assets after his death. As long as Talon lived, Malin could not sell the ranch. It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave the dingy ranch life behind. It's appalling how ungrateful she is, after all Talon did for her. His eyebrows are lovely too, yeah.
And there you have it. Testimony from a man who just lost everything. It's truly tragic to witness yet another family torn apart by greed. With evidence, we have the defendant caught red-handed at the scene of the crime, and now we have a motive.
Objection. How do we know he's telling the truth?
Bah! I have of course verified the witness's testimony. As per the law, all inheritance documents must be filed at the castle notary office to be considered valid. I saw fit to prepare this for the trial. Prosecution would like to submit the Lon Lon Ranch inheritance document into evidence.
Ranch inheritance document added to the court record. Mr. Ingo, why would you...
You should pass judgment now, Judge. The defense has nothing.
Objection. I would like to cross-examine the witness. There are a few more details I feel are relevant. But of course, ask whatever you'd like. I, the hard-working Ingo, can handle it.
Very well. Defense, please begin.
Cross-examination. The matter of motive. Alright, let's check the court record again. What do we have here? We have the Lon milk. And what of yesterday's shipments? Papa brought it during the recess. It seems strangely tasteless. Milk shipment returned. Apparently one of the milk shipments was returned to branch due to being misaddressed. Ranch inheritance document. Malon will inherit the ranch if she is unable to divide the deed between the crown and the remaining employees. Ingo is 44. Smarmy man who works on the ranch. I've never heard of this word before. Usually in his work clothes, but he's dressed up nicely for court. The heck does smarmy mean? Ah, I see. Bootlicking. That makes sense. Slimy sucker, yeah. I guess it's like from like the sound of it, it does also kind of sound like it, but yeah. So a couple days ago, the owner of Mal, that's Parties right there. How long ago was this exactly? 3-4 days. I'm not sure of the exact date. Had it been planned for a long time? Talon was getting on in years. Better to take care of the matter sooner than later, eh? Malon? He is telling the truth. However, scheduled a visit to the notary office about a week ago. What do you mean by partly, witness? How old was Talon? Oh, just says deceased. Talon became a life tenant, with Malon meant to inherit all of the assets after his death. Hold it. So Malon hadn't become the ranch owner yet. What? Of course not! Have you heard all the stories making rounds recently? So many ungrateful brats throwing their old folks into retirement homes the moment ownership signed to them. Talon was no fool. I myself convinced him that it was a safer option. The girl was up to some chicanery. He could always revert his decision. That's horrible. I'd never do that. As much as I'd like to believe that you did much worse by killing him. Children these days. You feed him, you raise him, and they pull a stunt like this as soon as you give him an inch over yourself. I must concur. The younger generation is horrible. Why did he look at me while saying that? Anyway, what that meant was... as long as Talon lived, Malon could not sell a ranch. Also, I feel like my voice for Ingo gets more and more toad-like. Hold it. Well, why would Malon want to sell the ranch right now? Why wouldn't she want to? Why would a pretty girl like her want to work on some dingy ranch? She'd have it much better if she sold the old place and used the money to move to Castletown. That's not true. I love working with the animals. I wouldn't leave them for anything. What? She's often slacking on a job, while I, the hard-working Ingo, had to cover for her. I guess the deku nut doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. That Talon loved to sleep on a job, too.
Ho ho! I do recall quite a funny story about the Lano ranch owner blocking the side entrance to Hyrule Castle for an entire day once. Guards couldn't wake him up. took a particular vocal cuckoo apparently. Ah, jeez.
Well, there you go. I am the real reason why the ranch has such renown. Me, the hardworking Ingo. Link, that's not true at all. I know. How do I stop this? It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave the dingy ranch life behind. Do you really think Malon would go that far? I don't want to think it, but clearly the events speak for themselves, don't they? Why wouldn't she just wait a few more years then? Talon was getting older. Perhaps she knew more and more work would be piling onto her. But really, how am I supposed to know? Ask her! That's alright. Well, if Malon knew what would work, wouldn't she have done this earlier? As Talon's only child, she'd still inherit the ranch. That's where you're wrong. For a long while, Talon planned to split the ranch between the girl and the crown. He was a patriotic man. He knew how much those horses meant to the royal guard. Wish he hadn't changed his mind now. Is this true? Yes, father's previous inheritance document did work that way.
Our admiral. Guess familiar bonds won over his right to help the king. Truly a shame.
Yes, naturally. The girl wanted to hold things, so she bided her time.
Think this sufficiently explains the timing. Let's continue, shall we?
Objection. Wait just a moment. There's one more problem with the timing that I'd like the witness to explain. Why would Malon have planned the murder for the day of the royal visitation specifically? More people around means more witnesses. You'd think she would have chosen any other day. Oh, did I forget to mention this? I overheard Talon arguing with her that very morning. He was telling her he changed his mind again. He was planning to tell the king that he'd be signing the ranch over to the crown. But the visitation was over. He'd had to council town to change the inheritance back to the original split.
What? Despite the victim's wishy-washiness, it would appear he did make the right choice in the end. Because of that choice, the defendant wanted to get the ranch. She had no time to waste that day.
Is this true too? Absolutely not. Father wasn't planning to do that, and there was no argument either. Kids these days. Sure, add it to the testimony, why not? There was an argument about the inheritance. Sounds like an important fact to me. The defense requests it to be added to the testimony.
Very well. Witness, please do so.
I'd be happy to, Your Honor. I mean, it's probably quite obvious how things are going, or how this all played out. Obviously, Ingo killed Talon and is framing Malon, so Malon cannot inherit ranch while she is in jail, or while she has been sentenced to death, which would mean that he gets the ranch. Very obvious. About what time did this happen? First thing in the morning, I was heading out to the cellar to start the day's work. I just walked out the front door of the ranch house when I heard some yelling around behind me. Do you remember any specifics about what was said? Oh yes, it surprised me enough that I stopped to listen for a minute. It was all like, "I'm real sorry, Malon, but the most important thing is to make sure the king will always have a steady supply of quality horses." I don't care. What about me, father? How can you do this to me? Malon, this isn't just about you. It's for the good of the entire kingdom. But what am I supposed to do? Can't move up in life if I'm stuck on this stump of a ranch forever. I thought you loved the ranch. All the animals are here. Ingo's always around to help out with the chores too. It's pretty great, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, the milk shipments are a bit weird. I haven't really tied them to it either. Yeah, he totally said that. He totally said that last sentence there.
He's pretty great, isn't he?
Yeah, Inge is awesome, but I still hate you for this. This isn't over. My god.
What a stirring reenactment!
I will keep my thoughts on the witness's acting skills to myself.
There's no way this actually happened though. Alan would never want to sell the ranch.
Objection! Well, of course she'd say that. No, you buffoon. Remember, she's under suspicion for murder. We can't trust the things she says.
Well, I trust her, but the judge probably doesn't right now, and that's unfortunately what matters. Do we have anything in the court record that could refute this story?
If you ask me, this whole inheritance issue could have been avoided if the crown wasn't so soft. In Gerudo Desert, there would be no question that the fortress may seize whatever it desires.
That's just messed up.
No matter. Continue your testimony, farmhand. Share with us the true nature of the defendant.
It's appalling how ungrateful she is. After all Talon did for her. No! You hold it! That man gave everything for her. She's gotten so many expensive presents over the years. Just look at that golden necklace she's wearing. That man spoiled her rotten. In fact, I think I saw another present he was meaning to give her on the very day he was killed. Another gift? Why yes! A little bottle of perfume, I believe. It's horrible. Talon was such a kind man. What happened to him is despicable. Was that last statement important? Oh yes it was. Add it to the testimony, please. Your Honor, the defense wishes to add the statement about the perfume to the testimony.
Objection! Bah! What are you doing? Trying to implicate the defendant even harder?
I think it's an important detail.
The perfume is irrelevant. But suppose the prosecution has no objections to strengthening our case.
Very well, witness. Please add
what you just said to your testimony.
Talon often bought Malin gifts. I saw the latest one. Some kind of perfume, I think. Hold it. Where did you see this? I think it was just lying around the Ragshaws. Talon probably intended to give it to Malin on the day he was killed. Do you mean this, witness? Why yes, that's exactly it. Looks very expensive. Only Talon had spent as much on his salary for me, a hard-working Ingo. Get up and leave to do work at the break of dawn every day, you know. What's your relationship with this guy anyway? Well, he's been employed and living with us in the ranch for as long as I can remember, really. You know, I don't think he's ever skipped a day of work thinking about it. Not a single one? Talk about dedication. Even so, something is very much off here. Alright. Witness! What is it? Just to confirm, you say that this bottle of perfume was bought from Malin by her father, correct? What else would it be for? I assure you, Talon wasn't the type to indulge in perfumes. Far from it. Well, you're wrong, witness.
Oh, is that so? Was the Ranch owner truly a perfume connoisseur?
No, Your Honor. This bottle of perfume was bought for the princess. Huh?
Objection! So what, defense? Sure, it's technically a contradiction, but what does the purpose of this bottle change?
Yes, Stephens, I admit, I'm confused as well. Please explain why this point is important.
Earlier in the trial, Malum mentioned that Talon bought his perfume in preparation last minute. Isn't that right, Malum? It sure is. We had a gift for the king prepared when the news arrived. We had a gift for the king prepared when the news arrived that it would actually be the princess making this visitation. Father quickly rode out into town to get a new gift. This info puts one thing into question. Talon's tasting gift, somebody's movements, the princess's testimony. Somebody's movements, probably. Someone's movements around the ranch are put into serious doubt.
Someone's? Well, don't keep us waiting on defense. Who is this person?
Naturally, the person whose movements become suspect is... Well, who else would it be? Take that! The witness himself. If you recall, this bottle of perfume, which had just been purchased, was found at the crime scene. A crime scene the witness supposedly never went to. He should have known about the bottle. Ah!
Order! Order! I will have order! The defense raises a very valid point.
You simpleton! What is the meaning of this?
Well, witness, did you go to the scene of the crime at any point? No, of course I didn't. I was working the saddle all day. I remember. I saw the gift the day before the crime. The girl is lying. Talon must have gotten the gift the day before. You're the one who's lying. Father didn't leave the ranch at all that day.
One's words against one another's. Defense, you have any way to prove that your version of events is true?
Smell the perfume? I don't think smelling the perfume would do anything. Find the receipts? Ask at the store. Well, it's probably not as simple as asking at the store. So I feel like it's gotta be finding the receipt. Honestly, I have no idea. Well, let's go with ask at the store. Why don't we send a soldier to ask the store owner when the bottle was bought?
Bah! You know how many people visit that store? It's inconceivable that the owner would remember every random purchase.
Any other ideas, Stephens? Find the receipt that was probably burned, I guess. Oh, is that what Ingo burned? When you buy something, you usually get a receipt, and the receipt always shows the date of purchase. It might still be at the ranch house. I say we send someone out to look for it. Father netted those receipts away. I have a drawer full of them. The perfume one should be right on top.
I believe this idea has some merit. Soldiers, rush out to the ranch house immediately and search for that receipt. Your Honor!
Yes, what is it?
What is it, soldier? We've just received the receipt from the team stationed at the crime scene.
Oh, is this a framed receipt? Could this possibly be a framed receipt?
Very well, thank you. I shall now read it out.
There's a lot writing on this.
Ahem, from Tingle's Mysterious Smells. Ah, yes, I think I've seen that store. It's that eccentric-looking place at the back alley.
You couldn't miss the blinding neon colors if you tried. is an utter eyesore. The gall of this, nobody running a monopoly on Hylian perfume is preposterous.
Perhaps, but back to the matter at hand.
The nerve of the Thunderhead. Why would anyone ever shop at a store when the owner calls every other customer a fairy?
Prosecutor.
And the balloons! Oh, the balloons! That fool popped one right in my face!
Prosecutor Dragmire, enough! Continuing on. Purchased item. 1 bottle of Rosy Ruby Lad.
Oh my god, no! Oh my god, all the references.
Oh my, this is quite a price. Why, I would have to...
Objection! Your Honor, please, the date of purchase.
Ah, yes, right. Date of purchase. Why, it's March 16, the day of the murder.
Ah!
Order! Order! I will have order!
Yes, we got him. Phew, I think we're finally getting somewhere.
Bah! Still doesn't mean anything. Perhaps the witness briefly went back to the ranch house for something and saw the bottle then.
Yes, that's it. I was getting thirsty, so I went back to get a drink. I must have seen the bottle then. Oh, come on. You think we're gonna believe that?
Yeah, I also thought the receipt was burned, honestly. Do you have any proof that he didn't?
Well,
Well, he did say earlier that he was at the silo all day.
So, well, so much for that. But we don't really can put that in as contradiction.
As the witness now claims to have visited the crime scene shortly before the murder, we should learn of his exact movements that day.
Huh? My movements? Well, alright. It's not a whole lot to say, though. Unfortunate that he managed to weasel out of that. But his next testimony will be full of lies. This is my chance. Witness's testimony. My non-suspicious movements. As was already stated, I had volunteered to work in the silo. At one point, I briefly went back to the ranch house to get myself a glass of water. I went back to the silo right after that, and stayed there until the career key. I haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. At some point, the detective came and told me what happened. And wow, was that detective one fine woman! Wow. Not suspicious. See, I haven't done anything to warrant suspicion. Eat my shoes, you brat. I'll pass. There has to be something wrong in there. Can't put a flawless story together that quickly. I mean, there probably was never an argument to begin with. I mean, as Malin already told us. What were you doing? Working on shipments and fulfilling orders. We sent out crates of milk to milk bars all across the kingdom every day, you know. Milk bars? Naturally, everyone loves a good drink, you know. But our milk is renowned as the best there is. Here's some other water stairs down. Despicable. I see. I think you said earlier that your job is to work on structures and equipment, though. Indeed, Talon and the girl would usually be the ones overseeing milk orders. However, since a royal visitation was happening that day, I felt they needed their minds unoccupied, so I took it upon myself to do it this time. After the murder, I got scared that the Sheikah Force's investigation would delay the shipment, and that I, the Great Ingo, would get the blame. Thankfully, it all went through fine. Yeah, and you were so concerned with sending it off quickly that you wrote the wrong delivery address on it.
Bah, you hardies, ridiculous. Getting tipsy from something like milk. Bet you couldn't even handle. Bet you couldn't even handle even a sip of the Gerudo's Noble Pursuit, a real man's drink.
A real man's drink? Aren't most of the Gerudo women?
Speaking of drinks, I believe the witness was talking about how he'd gotten himself a glass of water.
Yes, of course. Moving all that heavy stuff around works up a sweat, you see. I got very thirsty and... You didn't think to just take You didn't think to just take a sip of the milk you were handling? No! It wouldn't be right. The milk was for the customers, you see. I just didn't want to get into any trouble.
A truly honest man, how dare you suggest he would steal from his own workplace?
Right, so what did you see at the house? Nothing much. Got my drink and left. Still had a lot of work to do, you see. Suppose I must have seen the perfume bottle then. In fact, yes, I remember it clearly now. It was there, on the table, plain as day. Mwahaha! Great.
What happened after that witness?
Went back to the Sangha right after that and stayed there until the Korean King. First time chat, cheap viewers, let's go. And you were able to complete this so quickly on your own? Bah, you don't know the might of the Great Ingo. Ha! Yeah! Pow! Wham! I get things done in no time. I did almost break my back getting those crates out of the silo though. There were so many, all so heavy. It was like a puzzle in there. Oh my god, like it. All these references. Jeez. Anyway, that's not important. The point is, I haven't been back to Ranch House at all since then. Hold it. Are you sure? Sure as can be. Muhaha. Never went back in, even after the crime was discovered. Rah! They wouldn't let me in. Preserving the crime scene or some such. Couldn't even get any of my things. After I was questioned, no one gave me half a glance. Had to sleep in the stables that night. It was terrible. Is what he just said important? Probably is. Your Honor, I would like the witness to add his last statement to his testimony. What? What are you trying to pull now? Very well. Witness,
Please amend your test statement.
yeah, fine, whatever. Didn't even get to sleep or access any of my belongings. Had to spend the night in the stable. Couldn't you have stayed at an inn? Bah, what am I? Made of money? Big boy. I'm just a simple ranch worker, you know? Huh, you lawyers, always flaunting your wealth. Right, sorry. Not actually sorry. Doubt one night would bankrupt this guy. Just look at what he's wearing. At some point the detective came and told me what happened. Wow, was that detective one fine woman? Hold it. Could you elaborate? She's a hard-working woman who gets to the point and takes what she wants. Not to mention her impeccable fashion sense. What's not to love? That's not the part I wanted him to elaborate on. Wow, he seems totally smitten with her. Sure does. Wonder how Impa feels about it. Perhaps when his Korra trial is over, I could. But no, it will have to wait. You thought you could distract me, did you? I, the genius Wernsrook, and Ingo, see through your schemes. He's sticking to that story, huh? Yeah, it was a desperate fix, but it holds up surprisingly well. I can hardly believe this is the same Mr. Ingo I know. He's usually so nice. It's time to press for more details. Sure to slip up somewhere. There has to be a piece of evidence or a profile waiting to disprove what he's saying. I volunteered to work in the silo. People went back to the ranch house. Back to the silo right after that. Stayed there until the career came. And then back to ranch house at the base. Is that? Near the burnout fire. It doesn't specify what it was though. Is this the first one where I'm really stumbling on like what I need to present in here? Do I need to present? I have an idea, but this seems kind of far-fetched. Do I need to present this because he said he couldn't access his belongings, but he was still able to retrieve his outfit? That's like the only thing I have. I'm not entirely sure though. Might as well try it. Objection. Witness, there's something seriously wrong with your testimony. What are you talking about? You say you couldn't get any of your belongings because they were all at the ranch house, correct? A ranch house you were not allowed to go in. Oh really, that was actually it. I didn't expect it. That's right. Well, that would imply you should still be wearing your work clothes. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but those don't look like work clothes at all. Ah!
The defense has a point. Witness appears pretty well dressed for court. Can't imagine he would want to sully those cloths during work.
Well, what do you have to say to that? Gah! Oh, of course. I can explain. It's simple. These are brand new, yeah. My way to the courthouse, I went shopping for a nice new outfit. After all, I couldn't very well show up for court dressed like a bum. Mo-ho-ho-ho.
Yes, Stephens. Certain people have a modicum of respect for the court and show up dressed appropriately.
What's that supposed to mean? This is my finest Zora suit. So you claim you bought these clothes after the crime, is that correct? Very much so. This morning, in fact. Why, do I need to repeat myself? Do I accept that explanation? No. You buying those clothes today is simply impossible. What?
Oh, how can you claim so?
Defense, as you know, evidence is everything in court. Either prove that witness couldn't have bought these clothes today, or get out.
Hmm. This doesn't really do it, I think. Don't think he wasn't present for the milk shipment, was he? For the return, like all the soldiers were there. One of yesterday's shipments, Impa brought it during the recess. I have to prove that he wasn't able to buy today. Hmm. Is it the perfume bottle? It's gotta be the perfume bottle, thinking about it. So, he said he couldn't have seen anything, but like, he's gotta have seen the perfume bottle somewhere. So, is it the perfume bottle? I'm just gonna present the perfume bottle, and if that's not it, I'll have to rethink. This proves he couldn't have bought the cloths.
Must admit, I don't see the connection here.
But, because there is none, defense is just wasting our time as usual.
Ha! Needn't have worried. Yeah, figures. Yeah, I need to rethink this. Prove that a witness couldn't have brought these clothes today or get out. Yeah, I guess that is true. Is it the milk shipment return? No, that can't be it. Because the milk shipment, yes, it was returned today, but Inga wasn't present for that, I think. Okay, let's go like through everything. This is useless. Childhood photograph. What's that get to do with anything? It's a childhood photograph. That's like 20 years old or something like that. Nobody cares about that. Autopsy report. This is yesterday. Victim died from loss of blood no later than 8 a.m. Is this from yesterday? Saw. Supposed murder weapon. Clean of blood. Nothing I can do with that. Wrench inventory. Wrench inventory? March 15. I think today is... What day is today? I wish it said somewhere which day it is today. I think today is March 16, so that's from yesterday. Oh, it's on 17, so that's from the day before the crime. The day before the murder. Yeah, then I don't see what this inventory list has to do with anything. Rakes, garden hose, buckets, hammers, knives, wood saws, saddles, horseshoes, axes, brooms. Doesn't really do anything. Milk shipments. No. They were yesterday as well. Bloody cloth. No, that doesn't really have anything to do with this. So we said he saw the perfume bottle yesterday before the crime, when he went to the house to get a glass of water. Oil bottle. I can't also back out of this, so I do need to have the evidence that is required of me in here. Don't really see what the oil bottle has to do with anything. The oil bottle was found yesterday. Yesterday, inheritance document. I'm going with the return, because I have like no idea what else I'm supposed to use in here. Told you to stop wasting our time. That also proves nothing. Yeah. Could I even prove that? I don't know anything about Ingo's schedule this morning. Maybe if I could show he already had these clothes before today. Different, says you know everything. Oh! Oh my god! Yes! How did I not see that? He's wearing these clothes on this picture. Oh my god, I should have seen that. I stared at the picture and didn't even see it. God. Oh, thanks for the hint game. I would like to turn the court's attention to this. Ah. Why, this was one lovely pictograph. Oh, it reminds me of the idyllic days I spent with my grandma in the fishing pot.
with my grandson at the fishing pond.
What about this pictograph defense?
Well, just look at what Ingo is wearing. This photo is from Melon's childhood, but Ingo is very clearly wearing the same outfit he has on right now. He couldn't have bought it today. Yeah! Judge, please. Gepora is the same as every Ace Attorney judge. I mean, Gepora loves to yap as well, so this is pretty much in character for him.
Order! I will have order! Why, the defense is absolutely correct. I hope the witness has a good explanation for this.
There, think we finally got him. There's no way he can weasel out this time.
Objection!
Oh, unless someone weasels out for him.
Bah! Isn't it obvious?
Naturally, the witness knew he wouldn't need to wear his nice clothes for the royal visitation that was scheduled for that day. He brought them to the salon in advance so that he could quickly change just before the royal visitation's arrival.
Oh? Oh ho! Oh ho 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 ho! Yes, of course! I needed to be presentable after all. Can't look like a bum in front of the most important people in the kingdom. Wait a minute, this is insane! What kind of kangaroo court is this? The prosecution keeps making excuses up on the spot. Ingo was clearly lying about buying the cloths before the trial. He's definitely trying to hide something. Your Honor, surely you won't accept this blatant perjury?
Accepted, Judge. There can be no other explanation.
The prosecution's explanation does seem plausible. What? However, the fact that the witness didn't simply say it himself and then instead made up a lie about buying the cloths is indeed very suspicious. Defense. Prosecution has posed that there is no other possible explanation for this contradiction. What is your opinion on the matter? Can the defense think of an alternate version of events?
This is big. I really need to think this through. Yo. What's going on? Ingo is acting really suspicious right now. He's desperately trying to patch up holes in his testimony to conceal his real movements. Why would he be doing that? Ingo is the murderer. If it's not Malin, Ingo is the only other person who could have done this. Have to assume he did, even if I want to think Malin is innocent. With that in mind, why would Ingo change out of his work clothes? Because they are bloody. Talon's blood got them. They were eaten by a cow! They were eaten by a cow! Yo kid, what's up? How's it going? Yes, the clothes were clearly eaten by the cow. When Ingo killed Talon, his clothes must have gotten blood on them. Had to change into something else to hide his involvement. But then, wouldn't the Sheikah force have found the clothes in the house? Oh, that's what he burned! It was stolen. A burglar strode by just as the murder was happening. Right, and he only took some dirty bloody clothes and went on his merry stealing way. I don't think that's it. I need to rethink this. Ingo till thoughts. How could they have disappeared? They were thrown in a fire. Yeah, never trust the cows. Now the fire makes sense. Yo, look at this. Let's go. Ingo burned his clothes. That's it. This explains everything. Dang. I was about to say, are we entering like Danganronpa territory now? I believe I can offer an alternative explanation.
Objection! Nonsense. Judge, the defense spent far too long sitting in silence just now. They clearly have nothing. I call for a quick ruling.
Objection. Not only can I explain it, but in fact, the defense formally accuses the witness of the murder. No! It's simple. The reason he had to swap his outfit and why he's been lying about the circumstances ever since is because it got stained with the victim's blood.
Objection! Preposterous! There were any discarded bloody cloths nearby. The Sheikah force would have fought them. We would be trying someone else for murder right now.
Why, you are absolutely correct, prosecutor.
Huh?
Naturally, Ingo couldn't have left his bloody clothes lying around. And so he used this to dispose of them. Take that! Your Honor, cast your mind to the princess's last testimony.
The princesses? Ah, that mysterious fire. Objection! Surely you jest. You yourself made sure we all knew how meaningless her testimony was.
And yet, with this new context in mind, it gains a completely new meaning. An empty bottle of lamp oil found by a burnt out fire. Ingo used this lamp oil to quickly burn away his stained work clothes. Well, how about it, witness? My scenario explains everything. You killed Talon and then tried to hide it. This is... No! Hold on! What drivel are you spotting here? Me? Kill Talon? You already know that's impossible. Oh, is the next question about his motive? Witness's testimony.
Too busy for murder.
Ah, yes, of course. Everything you've said is wrong. I have no idea what you're on about. I have an alibi for the time of the crime. I just couldn't have done it. There's no way I could have completed those milk shipments, killed Callan, and tried to hide my involvement. The fire was just made for a quick breakfast. There's no mystery there. Stop trying to pin this on poor innocent Ingo. Oh. This is probably where we have to use the watered milk. Either the watered milk or the wrong delivery address. He seems like a sussy baka. True.
No, I shouldn't have to remind you, defense, but you yourself were surprised that Ingo was able to complete the shipment in time. Adding even more things for him to do in that time is preposterous.
That's right. The great Ingo is efficient at his job, but not that efficient. No, it had to have been him. I'm sure of it. There must be some trick at play here. Some kind of shortcut. I must find it. Probably most likely the milk. Too busy for murder. Just not exactly sure where you need to use that. Hold it. Surely my scenario is more plausible at this point than his panicked attempts to fix his story.
Objection! What's more plausible isn't for you to decide, defense. It's the judge that makes the final call. And as long as this alibi stands, I can't imagine him siding with you. Yes, all the loose ends have to be tied up before a decision can be made. Witness, please continue.
Could you explain what that alibi is again? With pleasure. At the time of the crime, I was busy preparing that day's shipments of milk. That's hard work. I barely had enough time to get them done before the courier came to take them.
The shipments were inspected by the Sheikah force as they were leaving the ranch. And as our resident detective has told us, they were found to be fully loaded up with bottles of milk.
That's right. The Sheikah force itself has watched for me. There's no way I could be the culprit. Oh, I disagree. There has to be one. There must be. There's no way I could have completed those milk shipments, killed Talon, and tried to hide my involvement. Hold it. Would it really have taken that long to murder someone and burn some gloves?
It would have taken long enough to definitely make the scheme infeasible.
Completing these shipments is a rather involved process. You have to milk the cows, clean the bottles, pour the milk into them, put them into crates, and load those onto a wagon. I love working with the cows, but that part takes the longest because you only get a little at a time. So as Maker Ingus said, the whole thing really does take a while.
Ah!
Father and I usually have to work together to get it done in time for the courier's arrival.
There you go, Defense. Your own client knows this is the unshakable shooter.
Okay, so there's no way he could complete the shipments and also do the killing. In that case, there had to be some way for him to finish the work faster. Just have to find him. Yeah, and that statement is where I need to press down. So you had enough time for breakfast, but not enough to kill someone? Yes, of course. Breakfast was cooking while I kept working. Then I just quickly gobbled it up. There's no issue there. In fact, yes. Remember, it even burned a bit because I wasn't completely paying attention to it. That's why I had to go get that glass of water too, you see. I had to wash it down after. What a convenient little explanation. For all I know, he actually did cook up a breakfast on a fire burning blood-soaked gloves.
Ew. Continue, witness. We don't want to hear about your culinary adventures.
Of course. But it's just what I've been telling you this whole time. Stop trying to pin this on poor innocent Ingo. Hold it. The only people who could have done this were you and Malin. And I know Malin well enough to know she couldn't be the culprit. That leaves you as the perpetrator.
Objection! Yes, by now we all know how much you value your friend. Let me ramp you though. Feelings don't matter at all here. Either show us solid evidence that puts Ingo's alibi into question, or concede defeat.
Is there any way you could have done the work faster? I'm not sure. It would be nice if there was though. I could sleep in a little bit longer every day. Yeah, you'd think he would have shared it with you if he knew of one. Just what shortcut did he use to go?
Objection!
But did you though? Did you really complete those shipments properly?
Objection! Defense, I shouldn't have to remind you that the Sheikah force checked the boxes thoroughly. They were definitely full of milk bottles.
Oh, I'm sure it looked that way.
What are you getting at, Defense?
Here you go, Your Honor.
Huh? Milk? For me? Are you trying to bribe the judge now? Didn't think you'd stoop so low. The Crown will be informed of this.
Oh, it's nothing like that. All I'm asking is that His Honor try tasting the milk. Just one little sip.
This is highly regular. But to be honest, I could use a trick. All this talking does make one's throat dry, you know.
Yeah, it really does, huh? Probably talked the least out of everyone here though.
Since what passes for milk these days, it almost tastes like water.
But water? I have to agree, this is definitely not standard milk. As we've heard from the princess and the detective, Lon Lon Ranch is renowned for the quality of its products. But there's no way people would say that about milk this lousy.
Objection! Bah, whatever. As if the unwashed masses would know the difference between quality and garbage. Where are you going with this, Stephens?
It's simple, you see. I received this bottle from Detective Impa, still unopened during the first recess. As we know, there were no milk shipments today, so this must have come from one of Ingo's shipments from yesterday.
Ugh!
It's true that Ingo couldn't have murdered Talon and also completed the shipments on his own. Unless he cheated. Ingo watered down the milk to get the shipments done in time.
Order! Order! I will have order! Yes, I suppose that would work.
Indeed, all he had to do is milk fewer of the cows. Save enough time without ruining the taste too much. Guess he used about a 50-50 split of water and milk. This is... No! Tell him.
Objection! Let me stop you right there. I will concede that something odd happened to that shipment. But all you have proven is that Ingo is a slacker.
How dare you?
Objection! Be quiet, you mongrel! Sure, Ingo watered down the milk. It doesn't make him a killer though, does it?
Well, no. But now we do know that he definitely could have done it. We know he did go to the crime scene. And we know he did have the time and opportunity to kill Talon as well.
Yet there is a vital element missing still. Let me put it in simple terms, so even an idiot like you can understand.
Rebuttal.
Oh boy.
The murder weapon.
Like the murder weapon. If Ingo was the murderer, then it couldn't have been the saw.
Hold it. And why is that?
It's simple. If the girl's story about working on the fence is true, then she was using the saw while her father was being murdered. Couldn't have been in two places at the same time.
Do I agree with this? Yes? I believe we're in complete agreement on this point.
You do realize the problems that Crane Street, right?
I'm sure it can all be explained.
Ha, as if. But very well, at least move on to why nothing else could have been the murder weapon either. Where would the supposed other murder weapon have even come from?
Oh, I have an idea. Couldn't he have used any old thing?
Either answer the question, Defense, or this discussion is over.
No need to overthink this. Anywhere Ingo could have gotten a weapon from will do. We'll worry about the exact details later. We have a bunch of knives on the ranch, I believe. Yeah, 6. Get like 6 knives. Have you forgotten this murder happened on a ranch? There are plenty of sharp things on here, on site.
Ho ho! That's simply impossible. We checked all sharp objects on ranch and searched everywhere. No fresh blood was found anywhere else.
Hold it. Couldn't Ingo have just wiped it off? Couldn't Ingo have just wiped it off?
Blood leaves traces. It's not that easy to get rid of. People like us aren't so sensitive, but other beings like the Zoras can easily tell by smell. Naturally, the Sheikah Force employs people for just this task. Also, as Longmont Ranch focuses on selling horse and milk, the animals there aren't regularly butchered, so there's no good reason why any of the tools would have fresh blood on them. Any such implement would have stood out like a sore thumb.
Well, I guess that is a good point. I may have to rethink this. Oh, dispose of it. Couldn't Ingo have just disposed of it in some way?
Ha! That's impossible, you see? No items from the ranch's inventory list were missing, and that list is indisputable.
Hold it. How can you be so sure the inventory is accurate?
Bah! Use your heads. There was a royal visitation scheduled for that day. Ranch owner needed everything to be in order. He would have double, even triple checked that list when he wrote it.
I suppose he would have, but he wasn't the one who wrote the list. That list was written by Ingo. The inventory list itself is false.
Oh, fascinating. What exactly makes you question the veracity of this document?
That would be something about the inventory itself. Another piece of evidence. Another piece of evidence contradicts the list.
Is that so? Well, go on then. Show us which piece of evidence contradicts the inventory list.
No, I don't know. The oil bottle? I mean, there is no oil on the list at all. This, of course. Judge, you have any idea what the defense is blathering on about now? No.
Naturally, it's not the list that's dubious.
But the defense's own shaky flames. Something about the inventory itself. Simple. You only need to brief look at the inventory to see that it can't be trusted.
Ho ho! Can't just go around making such general statements, defense. Point out what exactly about the inventory makes it suspect.
Take that. Just look here. The one who compiled this list was Ingo himself. He could have easily falsified the counts as part of his plan. See, that's kind of what I was getting at originally, but I was confused when the game said the inventory itself because I was thinking it was the contents of like the list of all things of inventory and not the list itself, if you get what I mean.
It doesn't matter.
Nothing could have left the ranch. Hold it. Wouldn't Ingo have been able to just throw the item out over the fence?
Bah! Obviously, we searched the perimeter of the ranch as well. nothing was found anywhere.
This is the most important point. Has nothing really been able to leave? Oh no, not this yet. No, I need the first, I probably need this later. I need the first, shipment. And then it probably goes like, oh, but shouldn't the ones who have gotten the order realize that something was off? Are you really sure nothing on the ranch? What about a few little shipments of milk? Preposterous! You've forgotten that such shipments had been checked by the Sheikah before they were allowed to leave. That's true, but there was a place the Sheikah could have overlooked.
What in Din's name are you babbling about? Talking about box-standard crates, your boy. Not exactly vast dungeons full of nooks and crannies to stuff things into, are they? Where could they have missed the murder weapon?
It's simple, they overlooked the contents of the bottles. Contents of the crates. Or the crates themselves. It's the crate themselves. Killer used a big chunk of... No.
No, the weapon was definitely metal. No stray bit of lumber could create a wound like that. Plus, if the weapon was wooden, it would have just burned it together with his claws to ensure we'd never find it.
Ah, right.
Well,
Think that is enough. Feel I have seen enough to announce a verdict at this time. Defense has failed to establish a likely alternative scenario to one presented by the prosecution. As such, I pronounce Marlon of Lon Ranch guilty. The defendant shall submit herself to the king to have her fate decided. This court is adjourned.
Well, retry the last scene. Which is the last scene? Where do we start? Okay, we start at this rebuttal. That's great. Okay, anyways. I'm gonna stop the stream in here since the game's saved here anyways. Might come back later, but I want to watch some football, so there's that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Maybe I'll be back later in like 2 hours of time. And yeah,